are going to have a discussion in the in-house training in the month of January 2021, and that is connecting and communicating with parents. Obviously, communication play a very vital role to develop something and to manages a lot of things. Communication have power to solve any kind of problem, and without communicating you cannot reach to any conclusion. So that's why it is very important to discuss over these things right now. This is the topic, that communicating and connecting with parents. Why? Because teachers and parents are the two pillars, those who can build a bridge of the future of the student on them. And if one of it lacks, if one of it, that means any pillar is not very stronger enough, not communicating enough, then obviously that future, the bridge of future of the child and education and the behavior and the personality, that will not, that may not be constructed very strongly. That's why it is very important to collaborate with the parents by the teacher, so that just meeting and talking and communicating on every issues will lead you to construct or to build a very futuristic child. If we ignore this topic, this point, then obviously this is going to make a darker aspect or darker side of the student, of the children, the that means opportunity of this construction of the future India, future nation, future generation we have taken in our hand. So that means if we see, I am just sharing a very small topic here, a very small brief story of a child. One teacher joined in a school, and or suppose that not joined, but the teacher was made a class teacher of a class, a particular class, and the teacher had a habit to enter in the classroom and always with a very cheerful mood, just she used to wish all the children that good morning dear all, okay, good morning dear lovely children. And just she had obviously that means so fascinating face, so cheerful mood, that all the children actually used to wish in the same manner, in the same behavior. But the the teacher at the same time was very well known to to her inside, that I have real love and care and empathy on rest of the kids, but not on one kid who was one child who was sitting not very well dressed, a little bit that means different from others. The child was so introvert, and the child had not a good performance in the academics also. The child was that means somewhere the child was feeling that he is not suitable for this class, or just he is one of the odd child of this class, and the teacher had not so much love and sympathy on that child. Okay, and after a long period of time, that means okay, a month passed, 2 months passed, and the teacher had a very, that means another kind of thinking thought process for that child who was sitting in the classroom, and rest of the children were very comfortable, while that child was not very comfortable with the teacher, and the teacher was also ignoring that child. Well, and when the time came and the examination was conducted, the child performance was really very low. You can understand the performance, just you think of it, the child performance was very low. What can be the causes for the poor performance of the child? So that's what, anyway, the child performance was not very good, and the teacher again, that means no problem, just just waited for the next examination. After that also, the child performance was deteriorating, and in the annual examination, when the progress report cards were made, when the that means children report was written, register was maintained, well, So that time the teacher went, okay, and talked to the principal. Sir, this is one of the child in this classroom who is affecting the average scoring of the subject and the result. So the principal asked, just thought something, and then after the principal had a conversation with the teacher, asking that please just go. The child is now in standard 5th. Okay, find out the report of that child in standard 4th and standard 3rd and standard 2. And then after, just tell me that what is the previous record of this child, because principal was well known that the child had a very good performance sometime. So that's why the teacher did the same. She just went, opened the portfolio of the child, the record of the child, previous record, and she found the class 2, the report card was written and shows that a very marvelous 97-96% marks was there, and written that the child is very good, a kid interested to the studies, he is doing well, keep it up. In the next standard class 3, the same type of things were written. In the standard 4 class half yearly examination, it was written in the report card that was showing earned and approx 70s, that means deteriorating marks. It was written by the teacher, earlier class teacher, that the child was not very punctual to the school, not very regular to the school, and the child is losing somewhere. In the next examination of annual, the teacher had written there that due to mother's illness, the child was absent for a month or more than that. And due to a serious mother's illness, the child was affected, and that's why, that means the portfolio was written, the child had lost very soon, that means child had lost her mother, his mother, and that's why the child was so disturbed and introvert. So pay attention towards it. The teacher was, when discovered all these things, at the same time the feeling changed. The feeling for that child actually changed. And the teacher was, somewhere she was crying what she did earlier for a longer period of time without communicating to the child, without knowing that what is the fact of that child. And the teacher was feeling guilty at that time. I should have talked to the student, I should have communicated to the parent, called the parents, and I should have discovered it a little bit earlier. Then I hope that the child wouldn't have been so much suffered. So suffering was done already. But when the next day the teacher entered in the classroom and she said that, good morning lovely children, then obviously the love was not for the rest of the children. What the love was, that means the maximum, the major part of that love and affection and enthusiasm while the teacher was speaking, she was directly watching and observing that child. And obviously then after she talked and she did, it is a very long story, I think it will take half an hour. I would like to conclude it that later on that child did very well due to the continuous communicating of the teacher and understanding. The student started coming up day by day, and that means the teacher helped him to give motherly feeling, as well as she thought that I will have to give the child a little bit what he has lost. वो पूरा तो मैं नहीं कर सकती, बट जितने टाइम में वो फीलिंग, वो अटैचमेंट, वो गिफ्ट, वो उसका बर्थडे है तो जस्ट बिकॉज उसके मदर की प्लेस में करना, तो ये कम्युनिकेशन ने सॉर्ट आउट किया एंड द चाइल्ड लेटर ऑन बिकम अ वेरी बिग डॉक्टर. एंड उसकी कन्वर्सेशन हुई उनके टीचर के साथ एंड द टीचर वाज, दैट मींस ये सीख मिलता है हमको यहाँ पे. जस्ट आई एम कंक्लूडिंग हियर दैट विदाउट कम्युनिकेशन डू नॉट मेक एनी प्रिजम्पशन. ओके, किसी के बारे में, किसी भी बच्चे के बारे में सिर्फ राय नहीं बनानी चाहिए हम लोगों को. सो दिस इज वन ऑफ द थिंग राइट नाउ व्हाई विल हैव टू थिंक ऑफ इट. Forces causing stronger need to communicate. Forces causing a stronger need to communicate. Well, so why communication, strong communication is very important nowadays to the parents, and collaboration is very important because automation in the students. Automation, why? Because students are automatically exposed to various kinds of things, like they are exposed to the internet nowadays, and many things are automatically coming to the students and children, like operating mobile system, talking or just giving their own statement on the telegram, on Facebook, on WhatsApp. So that means various means of communication has developed, and that has automatically came in the child. Why? While the parents are not so much exposed to the internet, while parents are not so much exposed. So this is the difference, this is the gap that actually is to be filled. Globalization. What happened today is parents are becoming more protective towards their children. Why? Because they do not want to let them involve and engage in the outdoor activities. Do not let them, just do not allow the children to go outside and participate in many of the things. At the same time, few of the parents are there who support their children to be globalized. So obviously, globalization has come into the effect when the internet 3G, 4G and 5G was invented. Then only the students sitting here in GARHWA town just explore that what is the, or how many monuments are there in the Egypt, and just what is the culture, what are the things. So such type of things are taking place in the children. So, and then inculcation. Students are not talking to the parents, but at the same time they are talking to various people of the society. But what is good, what is bad, this is to be divided and decided by the conversation of the parents and teachers. So pandemic situation is also the main reason why that forces us to have to build a very strong communication. Why? Because in this pandemic the students have gone into the distress. They were not with their friends, they were not with their teachers, they were not with their in the regular curriculum activities or just co-curricular activities, and at that time the parents were also not paying attention towards their children. That's why the problem came that the students are not attending, were not attending online classes, and the parents say that online classes are not useful, that is useless, the children do not learn anything on this online classes. Why? Because this is also a main reason that the communication gap is there somewhere. We are, that means in school the teachers did not convey the exact thing what they are doing, what they are preparing and what they are giving to the children, and the parents are unknown. And the students said that, oh, there is nothing in this class, actually that teacher do not take and did not send many of the things, do not check my homework, that's why I am not interested in it. So that's what the misleading through a wrong communication took place. So that's why in this situation the relationship and the communication between parents, teacher and students should be in a triangle mode, and that without that actually we cannot achieve what we have thought, because this is the second time, third time, fourth time, that means the waves after wave are coming. And if this gap is there, there is a fear. There is a fear that we are going to enter into a very new world that is not good for the society, for the nation, for this world. Education is also one of the factors in the children. When that is they are not talking to the parents, I am telling you very frankly that without talking to the parents actually, the students are involved in the just media unnecessarily. The use of technology is very important, everybody should know. But using only technology all the time will not be good for our health. Because when the child, just parents start talking, when just parents start talking to the child learns various kinds of things. The child learns the culture. The child learns the way of communicating towards elder and younger one. Differentiate it. The child learn what? The child learn the listening skill, the speaking skills, the difference between what is right, what is wrong. So that's what that many of the things are there that is not written in any curriculum book. किसी किताब में नहीं लिखा हुआ रहता है जो हम आप पेरेंट्स अपने बच्चे से बात करते हैं, that is not written in the curriculum, neither it is taught to the children. That's why communication is very important. Communicating friendly is very important. Next point is that if parents are talking, now many of the parents have this complaint that my child do not say me this, and I come to know from them. I come to know from this source. My child do not talk to me. He has just made a separate path, separation, a distance from the parents. Why? Why? Can you imagine it? You can imagine when you think that आप अपने बचपन को याद कर रहे हैं, ठीक है? आप अपने बचपन को याद कर रहे हैं। अच्छा, एक मूवी है बहुत अच्छा है, जस्ट एवरीबॉडी would have watched it, देवदास। आप लोगों ने देखा होगा, क्योंकि ये दिलीप कुमार से लेकर शाहरुख खान तक बना है, ठीक है? In that you must have come across the scene when that means the hero, the actor had a very, that means different kind of conception, thought process for his father. Agree?
Yes, sir.
Why? Because father was not making a general conversation, only making punishment because I am father, you are my child. This is not the process. This is a wrong process that actually you can understand. Where Devdas went, he can in search of love, in search of sympathy, in search of such type of thing that can split away from the house. And that's why the ending was everybody, that means is known to that. So do we want such type of things to our children? That in spite of doing such type of thing, the children should miss? No. That's why this communication, friendly communication is very important. कम्युनिकेशन ऐसा होना चाहिए, कम्युनिकेशन यानी बातचीत ऐसा होना चाहिए, नॉट ऑल द टाइम व्हाट वाज योर स्कोर इन मैथमेटिक्स, साइंस में फिर गए ना 4 नंबर, अच्छा तो लास्ट टाइम 90 थे, अभी 80 में आ गए, बहुत बढ़िया, मामला कुछ है। सच टाइप ऑफ थिंग्स अगर कन्वर्सेशन का पार्ट है और आप सोचते हो कि आप अपने बच्चे पे ध्यान दे रहे हैं, तो आई एम सॉरी टू से आप ध्यान नहीं दे रहे हैं, you are making that child separate from you and the child will avoid communicating with you. आप कैसे कम्युनिकेट करें बच्चे से, या वो टीचर पे भी डिपेंड करता है, स्टूडेंट पे भी डिपेंड करता है। हालांकि मेरा टॉपिक है कि कनेक्टिंग, वो आप जब धीरे धीरे कनेक्ट करेंगे समझेंगे, पहले तो ये जानना है कि कम्युनिकेशन का इंपॉर्टेंस कहां पर आता है, कनेक्टिंग टू द पेरेंट्स क्यों जरूरी है। बट मेन थिंग ये है कि जब आप अनप्रेडिक्टेबल बातें करते हैं, that means not very, your father should not talk like this, mother should not talk like this to the children in front of child. Such type of conversation should not take place. Just make it friendly, 1 time, 2 time, 3 time, 4 time, continuously make it your habit, and the child will come closer to you and various things that you will come to know. Another thing is the panic mode, that is not good कि आप first of all on any kind of conversation panicking को close करना है, panic बंद करना है, okay? Yeah, because panicking, oh my God, from where did you learn this? ये सीखे हो मेरे से? Such type of communication and conversation is also not good and make the child sick. आप कनेक्ट नहीं करेंगे, if teacher do not connect to the parents, various things are lost. You cannot, जो स्टोरी ने बताया, you cannot know the child, उसका इंटरेस्ट किसमें है, आप उसको मैथ्स के लिए पूरा पीरियड बाहर खड़ा कर दिया और पता चला कि बाद में वो चल के हिंदी का एक कवि बन गया। ओके, आपने उसको हिंदी में ये गलती होने के लिए, मात्रा की गलती के लिए आपने उस बच्चे को खूब पनिशमेंट किए 5 सालों तक, 10 सालों तक, और वो चाइल्ड पता चला कि बाद में जाकर के और बहुत ही बड़ा इंजीनियर बन गया। ठीक है, तो ये है, आपने बच्चे को उसके सोशल ये साइंस और इंग्लिश के ये के लिए बोलते रहे, बच्चा जो है सो आगे चल करके बहुत बड़ा पेंटर बन गया, आर्टिस्ट बन गया। तो at that time actually we'll have to feel that everybody has a special talent, a special behavior. हमको करना क्या है? हमको सिर्फ इतना करना है, the child should not break, this should not that means go out of the track. Behavioral problems should not come, because if the child is on the right track, the child will achieve whatever actually his desire. So right now, 9 skills children need for their future. 9 skills the children need for their future, that is love of learning. First of all, love of learning means what actually the students, we force them to learn, and the children learn what they have been asked to learn. Well, but that is not very fruitful. The main thing is that we'll have to think of that what the children love to learn, and when this skill they have learned, love of learning, then obviously learning by studying, learning by listening, learning by experiencing. Just experience the activities. What is it? How to do? What to do? When to do? And what not to do. That is also love of learning will be just inculcate in the children. How? Communicate them. What is the actual problem in the children's mind when you are teaching? What is the base that actually the children miss? That, and second thing is that skill at learning. Love of learning is one of the things, and second thing is that skill at learning. Skill at learning is where the child learns. If the child is not ready to connect it to the real life situation, then obviously that is not going to be effective. But if the child has learned skill of learning, how to learn it, and when, what to learn, then obviously the child is going to be really good in the future. Next is that self-knowledge. Right now, self-awareness is very important. If we are teaching the children as a puppet, our home assignment, our work should be also based on the children's concept. So self-awareness means when the child knows that what is his or her strength, then the child will become more confident. Okay? Why? And if the child is lost, the child is not able to connect that actually what I am for. So the child must learn that in which field or in what activities actually the child is good, and self-awareness, what I am, how I am in that, and what to do the next. So that self-knowledge if we are feeding, इसका भी connection है. Self-knowledge we can give to the students that that is how actually connecting to the parents. मैं नेक्स्ट में आऊंगा कैसे कैसे और क्या क्या चीजें हो सकती हैं. कनेक्टिंग टू द पेरेंट्स. कनेक्टिंग मींस क्या? मेनी ऑफ द थिंग्स यू कम टू नो थ्रू द पेरेंट्स that actually you are not aware about, and that is new, and that may give you some different ideas. And when you come to know through the parents, like one of our teacher that means once said when the new admission came that the father said that my child is very good, very interested to deliver speech or to speak on the stage. Okay, so that's what the father said. Otherwise 1 year 2 year would have already gone and nobody should have cared, and the teacher had a point. Okay? The teacher actually concentrated towards this virtue of the child, and the child got opportunity, and obviously at the new place also the child had its own fame, not only fame, but the child had opportunity to understand that yes, not in the last school, but this school also I can speak. Otherwise, this would have gone in the VA. Next thing is that people sense. People sense is very important to that means among these 9 skills in the children that we have to develop through the communicating, and when we do not communicate actually the students are not aware whom to talk, whom not to talk, with whom actually I will go along, and with whom I will have to discuss the problem. So people sense is very important. Okay, people sense is very important. The child should know, because a lot of things are taking place right now and just we later on feel it कि नहीं ऐसा करता तो ऐसा हो सकता था. तो this people sense कैसे develop होगा? Through continuous communicating, understanding. आपको किससे बात करनी है, कैसे के किसके साथ आपको आगे प्रोसीड करना है, with whom actually you will have to work along, and with various cadre of the people, how to deal with them, how to talk with them, and how to, what is the gap, what is the distance that you will have to follow there also, either they are girl or it is the boy. So this is very important for the future of that child, that they must have people sense. Next thing is that communication, obviously for which we are talking, that to communicate to at various places and to communicate in the different kinds of situation is very important. What to communicate, when to communicate, how to communicate. So this is also a futuristic, future generating skill in the child that can be solved and developed through the connectivity and connecting only, not only through the curriculum. Worldliness. Worldliness means the child should be aware with the world activities. Right now, the children are not aware. They are aware with the zip, they are aware with the many things, but only when they are interested. But when they are not interested, they are not aware that what is going on in the politics, what is going on outside this school premises, what are the changes that is coming into the education. What are the concept in the examination that is changing? So, how can you solve this? How can you solve this? That the child should be worldliness, दुनियादारी बोलते हैं, and that can be taught by the parents, by the teachers, and by the collaboration of both, and by continuous communication of them. So that's why these can be taught through the communication, and then only the communicate. Comfort with complexity. Comfort with complexity earlier ages. पहले क्या होता था? The people do not have so many comfort items like fan नहीं थे. People used to survive in that also, and they were happy. They were glad. Okay. Room heater नहीं थे. कोई बात नहीं. Just they used to wait for the sun, and just they used to take vitamin D. That was really very good for their home. No problem. There was not very good kind of transportation facility. Then what happened? The people used to walk around. That actually what we do in the morning when the doctor says that yes, you have to go on morning walk. तब just we shall start 1 kilometer, 2 kilometer, 3 kilometer walking in the morning, 2 kilometer going, 2 kilometer coming. And if we would have done it in our regular habit, cycling, then if we would have done it in the regular habit, obviously many of the problems would have already solved. So that's comfort with complexity has come. Right now there is a remote that starts television. There is a switch at the bedside that starts the fan, AC, cooler. So that comfort with complexity just will have to teach them, the children, the parents, that the children should not be facility oriented, and all kinds should not be given. All kinds of facilities that is not important for the child should not be exposed all the time